Automotive repair shops, do you identify with your employees or your clients? I was traveling out of town yesterday and it started to snow, and I noticed that my windshield wiper fluid was low. So I had a choice. It was too dangerous to drive home because I could be in a major snowstorm with no windshield wiper fluid. So that didn't, it would be too dangerous to drive in those circumstances. So I had a choice to make. But I remembered nearby within the 15-minute drive, I had an automotive client that I've been trying to land now for at least 20 years. And about maybe 5 years ago, we had an argument about, the fact that he likes to take time for his lunch between 12 and 1, and he just closes the door. So, and guess what? I walked in the door. There was nobody in the office, and I looked at my phone, and it was around 12 o'clock. And I thought, shit, what do I do now? Then shortly after that, somebody else walked in, and I said, it looks like everybody's to lunch. And he sat down for a few minutes, then he walked to the back after that. And I waited for about 20 minutes. And I'm thinking, should I go to the back? That's kind of rude. Because it's kind of a private space. So I walked outside, and a lot of times the door, one of the doors, shop doors, is open and you can see in and talk to someone. But the door was closed, middle of the winter, of course the door is closed. So what do I do now? So I waited for 20 minutes, and finally he came out, and I said hello, and I said, any chance I can have some windshield washer fluid put in my car? And he says, sure. So he asked one of his people, they go out and put windshield washer fluid. And I said, while I was standing here for 20 minutes, at least 4 people came in and didn't notice anyone. And in a huff, they left again, right? And I recall 5 years ago saying, you should post a sign on your front door saying we are closed between 12 and 1 o'clock. I understand you'd like to have lunch with your employees. You identify with your employees, but would it hurt to have a sign on the door saying, we are closed, right? So everybody, then he says, Leo, everybody knows that I'm closed for lunchtime. And I said, well, just because they know, and I knew as well, but I still showed up. Not everybody remembers all your policies, right? So, would it hurt to put a sign on the door saying we are closed between 12 and 1? Someone comes in, knows the policy but forgot the policy, can now, instead of opening the door, see the sign, go back and do what they need to do. I'm a firm believer there has to be clear communication, not only with your employees, but also with clients. And I also remember, 5 years ago, reminding him or telling him that you should be using software to allow his clients to go onto the website, register all their vehicles, and schedule their own appointments. I need an oil change. Okay, the next oil change available on Tuesday. Okay, then I can pick the time to bring my car in, right? But no, he still doesn't do that. He's still very old school. He's a good mechanic, but he keeps complaining he has no quality of life, but yet he's not using any quality of life tools to give him quality of life, right? 90% of his work could be done by artificial intelligence. The scheduling, the invoicing, the bookkeeping, all that type of work, or preparing work for the bookkeeper, right? 90% can be done by software or artificial intelligence, and yet he doesn't do it. And yet I know he's been pissing off clients now for 40 years because he identifies with his employees, because he is an employee of his own business. Because that, he created his business to turn himself into a slave of his own business. And he doesn't see it. I've had this conversation with him, at least 20 times, and he still doesn't see it. I'm not going to give up on him. Or maybe I'm the idiot, because trying to convince people there are better ways to run businesses, and he's just not listening. So here's a question for you. Do you run an automotive place or any type of business? Do you identify more with your employees or your clients? All right? There's always a preference. And if you're not a client-centric business, how are you designing quality of life for your employees? Are you pissing off your employees? your clients? Are you pissing off your clients because you identify with your employees and you feel you need some time on your own? Why not design a business where the business works for you and you don't have to show up at the shop at all, right? I have a client, a painting client who runs a $5 million business, and he travels to 38 countries a year surfing and playing beach volleyball while his painting company, and he does $5 million and he doesn't want to grow, and that company works for him. I guarantee you he has more control over his business while he's in Africa or Turks and Caicos or wherever he is surfing than you do being at your shop. Challenge me on that. I guarantee you, because your employees only work hard when you're around. As soon as you turn around, as soon as you go back to the office, they go back to their leisure pace because they're only there for their paycheck, right? They're not there. They don't think like the owner. They're not there to elevate the business, from $300,000 in net profit to $500,000 in net profit, because you don't have a profit sharing plan. So why would they do it? Why would they work hard if there's no incentive for them to work hard? So car mechanics, car repair operations, are you client-centric? Are you designed to really please your clients? How many video testimonials do you have saying this guy is amazing, right? This repair shop is amazing. How many people are posting that on Facebook or other social media? Type yes below if you really want to create, a $5 million auto repair shop and create quality of life. Isn't that why you started the business, so you can be your own boss? Did you want to be your own boss so you can be your own slave? Or do you want to be your own boss so you can create quality of life and run your business from your cottage or your sailboat? Type yes below, because I know you're not the type to ask for help. Typing yes will do the same thing. Type yes below. We'll talk soon.